So apparently the Fever just leaked their starting five.
Cunningham, the first player off the bench to provide lineup versatility and shooting. Either way, there are a lot of options.
This is apparently what it's going to be. Caitlin Clark at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, the wnba at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5. Obviously.
In order for the Fever to achieve the goals that they have in front of them, everyone is going to need to buy into their role, and it's up to Stephanie White to put the best lineups out there, the best lineup combinations, and all of that. I took a stab at projecting what the starting five will be, and it's, not a huge leap, but obviously Caitlin Clark's going to be the point.
I'm stoked about this year. I'm really excited for the players, but I'm also excited just for the community and the relationship and the culture that you guys have here.
Did Sophie Cunningham just provide the blueprint for how veterans should respond to being replaced by rookies? When Caitlin Clark took her starting spot, Sophie could have pouted or demanded a trade. Instead, she's revolutionizing what team chemistry looks like in the WNBA with a response nobody saw coming. What if I told you that Sophie getting benched might actually be the best thing that's happened to both her career and the Indiana Fever's championship hopes? Her surprising reaction is forcing everyone to rethink what makes a winning team. With the Fever's projected starting five already being called a potential super team, Sophie's mindset might be the final piece that turns potential into reality. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Who I do think will be the first player off the bench because of all of the things she can bring to the team, where they can go small with her and spread the floor. I mean, you can go real small. You could play Howard at center and Cunningham at the 4, something like that. Really space the floor out and give teams a different look. She can play a traditional spot on the wing, of course, and she has a little bit more, I think they're listed at the same height, but she has a little bit more length and size. That's, another shooter out on the floor.
We're going to be a phenomenal group. I'm excited for all the other pieces that came in this offseason with me. And so when I really see what I can do here, I'm confident in that, but I really am just excited for the big picture of what everyone brings to this team.
What if I told you that the most important player on the Indiana Fever isn't even in the starting lineup? Sophie Cunningham's move to the bench might be the secret ingredient that turns this team from good to great. When the Fever announced their projected starting five with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Dana Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Aaliyah Boston, Sophie found herself in an unfamiliar position, coming off the bench. Let's be real for a second. In professional sports, when a starter gets bumped to the bench, we usually see tantrums, trade demands, and team chemistry falling apart. Think about it. How many times have we watched veteran players completely derail a team's momentum because their ego couldn't handle a reduced role? Remember Allen Iverson's famous practice rant? Or how about Carmelo Anthony struggling to accept a bench role later in his career? That's typically what happened.
You think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they are going to go as the greatest.
So I saw Sophie Cunningham talk about how she is thrilled to join a supporting role next to Caitlin Clark and that she's playing on a stacked Fever squad.
I am really excited, and I didn't come here for the spotlight. I didn't come here to have more eyes. I came here to win. And I really do think that with the group that we have, that we are going to win. We are going to get a championship. Just kind of heard what they were doing. And of course you have Caitlin, who's drawn eyes from all around the world. That is like, why would I not? Why not be a part of something great? You go from Diana and now you're going to a team who is going to be a contender for a championship. And so I'm stoked about this year. I'm really excited for the players, but I'm also excited just for the community and the relationship and the culture that you guys have here.
But Sophie Cunningham, she flipped the script completely. Instead of complaining or creating drama, she embraced her new role with an enthusiasm that shocked everyone around the league. When the news broke about the starting lineup, all eyes turned to Sophie. Would she be the problem that derailed the Fever's championship hopes? Would her disappointment create a toxic environment? The answer couldn't have been more surprising. Sophie immediately focused on building chemistry with the second unit. it. She started looking for ways to maximize her impact in limited minutes. She studied film to understand how she could provide the perfect spark when the starters needed rest. In a league where individual stats often drive contract values, Sophie put winning above everything else. This kind of veteran maturity is extraordinarily rare. While many players talk about being team first, Sophie is actually living it. She could easily be starting on other teams around the league, but instead, she's focused on making the Fever better in whatever way she can. That's the true foundation of greatness. What makes Sophie so valuable as the sixth woman is her incredible versatility. She can defend both guards and forwards effectively. She can stretch the floor with reliable three-point shooting, and perhaps most importantly, she brings an infectious energy every time she steps on the court. When the Fever want to change things up, Sophie allows them to go with smaller lineups, spreading the floor and giving opposing teams a completely different look to deal with. You know what's even more impressive? The ripple effect Sophie's attitude is creating throughout the team. Other bench players like Lexi Hull and Sydney Colson are following her example, creating a second unit that doesn't just maintain leads, they can extend them. When your reserves are bringing that kind of value, you become incredibly difficult to beat over a full 40 minutes. The big question everyone was asking, can Sophie still impact games without starting? The answer is becoming clearer with each passing game. By focusing on bringing instant energy, defensive intensity, and reliable outside shooting, she's often the catalyst for momentum shifts when the Fever need them most. And isn't that ultimately more important than being introduced with the starting lineup? Look at the numbers across sports history. Teams with strong bench leaders who fully accept their roles win championships. The San Antonio Spurs dominated with Manu Ginobili embracing his sixth-man role. The Golden State Warriors created a dynasty with Andre Iguodala coming off the bench. These teams weren't great just because of their superstar starters. They were great because their entire roster bought into a team-first culture. Sophie is making the Indiana Fever better by creating that exact culture. Her willingness to put team success over individual stats is forming the foundation that championship teams are built on. In a starting five loaded with talent, Clark's exceptional vision and range, Mitchell's scoring ability, Bonner's versatility, Howard's tenacious defense, and Boston's dominance in the paint, Sophie provides the perfect complementary piece that completes the puzzle. What's truly special about Sophie's approach is how she's redefining what it means to be a bench player in the WNBA. She's not just accepting her role, she's actively reshaping it into something more impactful. She's proving that sometimes the most valuable contributor isn't the one scoring the most points or grabbing the most headlines. Sometimes it's the player who makes everyone around them better through their attitude, effort, and selflessness. So let's wrap this up. What Sophie Cunningham is doing right now goes beyond just accepting a new role. She's literally creating the championship blueprint for the Fever. As experts point out, championship squads aren't just built with stars. They're built with players who know their role and embrace it. Sophie's mindset is truly the foundation of greatness. The bench doesn't just fill minutes. It mirrors the starting lineup's style while maintaining intensity. That's incredibly rare in the WNBA. In a league dominated by highlight reels and individual achievements, Sophie reminds us that true value often comes from those willing to sacrifice personal glory for team success.